Good evening and welcome in. This is the right wing. It is November 12th already. And let me tell y'all something. It feels great outside. I love the cold. I love how it gets dark early. I love waking up and it's freezing cold. I go work out very early in the morning. I usually wake up between 4 and 5 in the morning. And this is my favorite weather. It's like a winter arc. That's what my brother in law said. We were at the gym or getting ready to go to the gym, and he said that he was starting his winter arc. There's something about it. It's like a testosterone release. It's freaking 20 degrees outside. You put on a hoodie and sweatpants. You're going to the gym at 5 in the morning. I don't know. There's something awesome about it. I love this time of year. We're actually getting fall here in Georgia. We're getting some like pretty colors on the trees, so that's nice. But yeah, I got a great show planned for y'all tonight. Thankful for all y'all who are here. Thankful for the viewership we have. There's been a big push on the Instagram this week. So if you're new here, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. For those of you who don't know, I try, especially on my solo shows, to go through and answer a lot of questions at the end, comments, things like that. Leave them in the comments. I think I can see them everywhere. I'll be checking all the different platforms. And we made a little change tonight. We're streaming live right now to TikTok for the first time. I finally got my TikTok, my new one, after getting banned. It's finally my new TikTok has gained enough followers to go live. It's brand new. If you don't follow it, go follow it. It's at Jarrod Wright. It's pretty simple. So yeah, I'm super excited for the show tonight. We're going to dive into the things that Trump is doing, the absolute betrayal of Trump, of his own constituents, of his own people, of his own country. He claimed to be a patriot. I would argue in 2016 he was a patriot. And here we are today. Here we are where it feels like we're getting screwed on a daily basis. It's like every single day. It blows my mind. I've never seen this. But it's like every single day he says something new that is so out there and so stupid and pisses me off. And I hate to be so negative. I'm really not a negative person. I'm really a positive person. But he does these things every day right now. Like I think we're on a streak of like 6 days in a row where he has done or said something I've just been angry about. And it's like, really, dude? Like this is your stance? Even through the weekend. It's like he keeps on doing these things. So I got a good show planned out. We're gonna go for I don't know half hour, and see where we get to, see where the rant goes. I've told y'all before this ends up being like therapy in a lot of ways. I get my anger out screaming at y'all, I guess, about other things. So yeah, Trump, he's really upset me. That's what I really want to dive into tonight. Looks like we got quite a few viewers across all the platforms. I definitely appreciate y'all being here. Um, yeah, definitely trying some new things. So we're just gonna dive into the show. The biggest thing that I want to dive into is what Trump said today. And I'm gonna actually show the video in just a second. You should see it on your live view. Um, but he's speaking to Laura Ingraham, and he is talking in this specific instance about the H-1Bs coming in, and he loves them. I mean, this is like his favorite thing for some reason. He is all about it, and he actually states something in a way that makes him seem not American, even like he doesn't have allegiance to this country. He pushes us as like almost a different people. So maybe we should show the video first. Let me pull this out. Let's pull up the video, go watch it together. All right.
That made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing. It's very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
All right. Well, that was part of it. I missed a good chunk of that I wanted to actually dive into. Let's go dive in on this. My bad, y'all. I thought that's what we wanted, and it was not. I hope Laura posted about it. I thought she did. Good Lord, she posted a bunch of clips. No wonder I didn't get the right one, y'all. I apologize. Anyways, is this how How many clips is this woman? Let's just try this. Let's just search. Let's search up Trump H1B. It should be trending. That way y'all can get the right clip, because I really want y'all to see exactly what he says.
American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and you have to people.
First off, he said you have to have talented people here. Talented people, which means we don't have them. All these people we're pushing into college, us in general, we're not talented, is what he says. We're not good enough for the workforce. Instead, we need to bring in a bunch of freaking Indians and Chinese people because they're talented and pay their way and let them make 30% less. That's what he's saying. But did you notice what he said? Let's back up. Did you notice how he frames this? She asked, so we don't have talented people here? And here's what he says.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off and
he says, you don't have talent here. You don't have talent here. Let's see if he says it.
We have plenty of talented people here.
No,
you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have.
He keeps saying, you don't have talented people here. Do you know how angry that made me? Switch back over here to the main view. Do you know how angry that made me when he says, you don't have talented people here? Because that means he's speaking of this from a outsider looking in perspective, from an un-American's perspective, saying, no, you, the American people, don't have talent here. So he's not saying we don't have talent here. That's how, if I was going to say that statement, I would say we, not you. So not only does he say that we're not talented, so by the way, your president doesn't believe in you, he's also saying he doesn't even associate with this country. And always surprised. You know, the rumor has it, I believe it, that he converted to Judaism back in 2018 in his first term. Well, with that being the case, perhaps he views himself as a citizen of Israel at this point. Not even a citizen of the United States, but as a perpetrator of everything that Israel does. And it does make sense as to his actions in this presidency if he views himself as an Israeli citizen versus that of an American. This really rubbed me the wrong way, because the H-1B, this is a crisis. I'm calling it the H-1B crisis is what I want to call it, honestly, because that's what we're going through when we're shipping in by the tens of thousands, if you could really say the hundreds of thousands, of these H-1Bs, primarily Indians and Chinese, coming here and taking a lot of our tech jobs, a lot of our missile jobs, he even mentioned in that video, a lot of these different jobs, they are taking them. They make 30% less on average than the American would in that same position, which is why the companies are all about bringing them in, why his buddies, the rich buddies, are all about bringing them in. And then we're without jobs. And it takes the pay scale way down. Because if I'm an American and I just graduated college, and let's just say that I want to go get this tech job, and I should be able to make, just for ease of numbers, let's say $100,000. Well, now, this Indian dude, he just came from the poop smearing festival, and he comes over and he's like, oh, I want to work. No, he does the same job for $70,000, which means when I want a job, I have to say, ooh, well, I can't get the $100,000 one because now all these Indians are taking it. Maybe I have to settle for $70,000. And so now I'm making $30,000 less in this example, 30% less overall on average in all these jobs, whether it's missile building, whether it's anything. That is an issue. It's driving it down. And not to mention the fact that whenever they come over here, between all immigration in general, plus these H-1Bs specifically, now we have a housing crisis. There's not enough houses. Demand is exceptionally high. Rent is exceptionally high. Prices go up. It makes it harder. It makes the landlord, in this sense, way more profitable, because he says, whoa, demand's way up, and I have this property. I want to shoot the price up on it. I want to make money. And then all the prices go up. That's what people aren't understanding, is this is not only a job issue, this is an economic issue, this is a housing issue. There are so many things that are reliant on this that this is affecting. And he's all for it. Trump is all for it, because us, not him, us are unskilled, we're untalented. And so he wants to help his rich buddies out and get them cheap labor. That's what it comes down to. It's cheap labor. And I want to reiterate, I had several people tell me, oh, well, it's because the Americans don't want to work. It's because the Americans don't want to work the fields. That's what somebody said. These H-1Bs are not coming to work fields. Somebody told me that. I'm like, no, that's not what this is. Maybe if you want to talk about the illegal debate, illegal immigrant coming in, but the H-1Bs are coming for high-paying jobs. That's the whole point of it, is because they are qualified where we aren't. That's the whole point. So no, it's not that we don't want the jobs. That's the jobs we want. And there was a stat I saw where 40% or 40% of all college students, I believe, graduate with a STEM degree of some kind currently. Yet only 15% of them go into the STEM field. That's an issue. Where are the other 25% of them doing? So this is the whole college is a scam debate. 25%, over half of the STEM students don't even go into the STEM field. It's because these jobs are overflowing with different immigrants from these other places on H-1B visas and such because they're cheap labor. And then they overstay the visas and they bring their families and everything else. That's a whole nother issue if you want to dive into that. But the issue is Trump is pushing for this hard. He's pushing for it incredibly hard. And I cannot get with that. I cannot support that. And the fact that he says that we're untalented, that really has ticked me off. It's really got me angry with him. And like I said, there's been several things that have happened. This weekend we have this weekend into the beginning of the week, we had the whole situation where the first thing we got was the 50-year mortgage being pushed. The Jewish-owned bank dream, the 50-year mortgage, where you pay back probably 3 to 4 times the actual value of the house when you buy it in interest. Then you get the 15-year car loan. New cars don't even last 15 years now. They're made so cheaply and so crappy, they don't even last 15 years. Yet what's going to happen is all these people are going to buy it. They're not going to want to keep it for 15 years. They're going to keep it for 5 years max. Then they're going to decide they want the newest and best. When they go trade it in, they're going to be upside down because they haven't paid anything. They're only paying interest on it. This is the issue that we're going to see faced, or somebody gets into a wreck, or the car breaks down, because 15 years is a long time for a car right now. How many people are driving 2010s right now? Not a lot, especially when it comes to cars. They're driving 2018s and newer. 7 years. Most people, I mean, I'm not saying this is everybody. Sadly, the economy is so bad, a lot of people are having to drive those to get by. They're having to drive a cheaper car and they can't. And car is a luxury. I'm not one saying, hey, go buy a brand new car. It's a luxury item to an extent, but you need something reliable. So the 15-year car loan is going to screw so many people. It's people's biggest expense, and it's not going to make people say, "Well, I'm still going to buy the same, Nissan Altima or F-150." They're going to go buy the nicer one instead of the XLT F-150. Well, now I'm going to go get the Lariat and just pay on it longer because it's cheaper. So that way I can get something nicer. Well, then you end up upside down. Then you end up having financial issues down the road. And this is what he's pushing. It's the same with the house. You're going to pay so much in interest. You save $400 a month, but yet you pay back $400,000 in interest. He's pushing this. Who does this help? Honestly, honest to God, who does this benefit? Ask yourself that on any of the things that he says or does. Who does this benefit? And I guarantee you, the people that it benefits more than anybody come back to number 1, Israel, number 2, him, number 3, his very rich friends. Those are the 3. When I say Israel, I encompass Zionists and Jews in that, all in one. That's the issue we're seeing with Trump. It's not America first. Y'all know I'm on the America First movement 100%. We're on the train. I've told y'all we're coming. We've talked about this, but the issue is Trump's not on that train. He's on the Israel First train. He's on the rich buddy train. He's on the himself train. Nick spoke on it last night. He just doesn't have the vibes. That's the word that keeps getting thrown around. In 2016, he was lively. He was 70. He was still getting around very well. Not that he's not now, but he was very lively. He come in. He was a strong voice. He was a 1 in a million candidate, once in 1,000 years, it feels like, coming in at the perfect time, the perfect candidate. And it was a storm in 2016. And he did several things the wrong way once he got into office. And I put that on inexperience and some bad advisors around him and such. And in 2020, I truly feel like he won. And I think that would have been better for us in a lot of ways. But what happened was, whenever the Democrats took the election, or whatever you want to say about it, he comes back and he says, well, I need to win. And I think he come about this from a point of he wanted to do it for America. Honestly, I do feel that way. But he had to take so much money and he had to make a lot of friends to do that. So he went from, when it comes to Trump, he was 70% small dollar backed in 2016. He was 70% big dollar backed in the 2024 election, meaning it was big donors. It was people like, what's her face? Miriam Adelson, who gave him $230 million. You don't take $230 million from an individual without stipulations. Miriam Adelson is a strong Israeli Zionist type person. What do you think those stipulations have in them? Right. And we're not going to know them. It's not like it's a written out thing. Well, it might be written out for them. We're not going to have that released. But there are stipulations. And I think that we're seeing the fruit of that right now. But the fruit of his presidency currently is nothing good. If we're being honest with ourselves, if we're diving into it, the fruit is he says promises made, promises kept. What promises he kept? He closed the border. Cool. You're pissing everybody else off. You're not actually doing mass deportations like we want. But great, nobody's coming across the border. Okay, whoop-de-doo. There's one. What about no new wars as we bomb Iran? As other wars are raging, as we're about to have to bomb Venezuela or God knows what with that whole situation. What about stopping all the wars? Russia and Ukraine still going on. Israel and Palestine, you have a ceasefire that Israel just keeps violating. So what's the deal there? What happened to that? What happened to actually improving our lives? Honestly, right now, if I'm going to check the comments, if your finances have gotten provably better in a way that you can show, you don't have to show it, but if you say my finances in the past 6 months were better because of Trump, as far as grocery bills and things like that, not you got a raise, but because of Trump with the grocery bills with inflation than they were last year, please say something honestly in the comments because I'm really curious. You know, I'm gonna be looking at it kind of as I keep on talking. I do not know of anybody whose financial situation has gotten better, and that's so sad. It's disheartening. It'll really actually upset you more than anything. So we voted on him because we wanted things to get better, and they just didn't. And the sad part about it is, yeah, I'm not seeing anybody say anything. Uh, the sad part about it is, when it comes to these finances, is a lot of these people are first-time Trump voters in this past election, and I know a lot of them. They voted Hillary in 2016. They realized throughout the next 8 years, 4 of Trump and 4 of Biden, that they liked what Trump did and that the economy was better. And it was. There's no debating it. In 2016, he made the economy better and Biden took it and trashed it. They said, well, it was a whole lot better under Trump. So they voted for Trump. And they're very, what I would call moderate conservative, very moderate, first time voter conservative. And they don't have the knowledge to understand what's going on and to understand that he's not actually putting his best foot forward. He's not actually giving us what we want. And it's sad because now they're really going to feel betrayed. This is their first time. I feel betrayed as somebody that backed him for the last decade. And then you come in and you just say, hey, screw you. We don't care about you, American citizens. I care about my Israeli citizens. That's what he said. You're not talented. I'm not going to actually help the inflation. I'm not going to make things better. I'm not going to stop the wars. No. We're just going to, say we're doing stuff and then really not release the Epstein list. There's another one. What that promise? I spoke this week on Instagram about how angry that made me. These people need to be put in prison. It's ridiculous. So what has he done, honestly? And I hate to say that to you. And people are like, well, he was better than Kamala, however you want to say her name. You know what? I don't disagree. He was better than her. But at the end of the day, would you rather this country be destroyed in 5 years or in 10 years? Because that was our two options. A slight delay on destruction or just let it be done. At this point, I would just rather it be done. Let's just destroy it so we can rebuild it. Perhaps I'm an accelerationist for that thought, but I cannot get behind this idea. We want somebody that's a strong right-wing candidate to save this nation. We want somebody who has real beliefs, who has a real, just absolute passion for Christ and for this country to save it and to pull us out, to get us out of the grips of Israel, to get our money out of there, to get our money out of all the other foreign nations and all the other bullcrap, our taxpayer dollars, and save the country. We thought Trump was that. And that was what was so alluring about Trump. That was his sparkle, was we thought he was that. And he's just simply not, at least not anymore. It breaks our hearts. We feel betrayed because of this, because we see our country dying right before our eyes. We see this beautiful nation falling apart from within, similar to the Roman Empire, similar to the Greeks. We see it crumbling from within. And we thought we had somebody that would save it, and he just betrayed us. And he said, nope, We'll just, do a little bit here and a little bit there and brag about it as much as we possibly can and do nothing. Because that's the reality of it. Another thing that happened this week is he decides to pardon Bibi Netanyahu. He didn't pardon him, but he's pushing for the pardon. I saw the letter come out, I think, today. He's pushing for a pardon of a hardened war criminal, a true awful war criminal, if we're being honest here. Who supports that? Is there anybody that can say they support that? That dude needs to be in prison and honestly needs much worse done to him. Stuff that I can't say because we're streaming to TikTok, if I'm being honest. And I would prefer this account didn't get banned. So what is up with that? Why are we okay with that? And it's because they're best friends. At this point, they're best friends. You see the memes of them, being boyfriends or whatever. It's stupid, but it feels like the truth. They love each other, Bibi and Trump. And that's all you hear about constantly between them is how much they love each other. Nobody's visited Trump in the White House from a foreign nation more than Bibi Netanyahu. And Trump's saying he should be pardoned. He's a war hero. No, he's a war criminal. Genociding people does not make you a hero. And it's sad that we're at the point where that becomes normalized, and that's what our heroes are supposed to be. I'm not going to get behind that. And this is what Trump pushes. So there's another thing. It's just like the tallies just add up about all the things that have screwed us, and he has done just wrong. And on top of all this, he comes out and basically says, hey, we're going to dive into communism. We're going to hand out $2,000 checks. Okay, and what does that do for us, Trump? Just being honest, 90% of the people who receive a $2,000 check are going to take that check and they're going to blow it in a week. They're not going to actually use it for something good and to buy groceries. No, it's going to say, oh, I have an extra $2,000. Let me finish my tattoo sleeve, and I'll probably put some new paint on my truck because I want it to look cool, some stickers. And I've been really wanting the new iPhone that just come out. I'll go ahead and get that. I got $40 left over. Probably take my girl to the movies. That's what's going to happen. This is what happens with communism. It gives you no incentive to actually work or to actually put it into the economy, to actually want to grow and be better. And for some reason, if it comes from a supposed Republican candidate, communism is a good thing now and people praise it. No, this is a terrible thing. We don't want that. Yeah, $2,000 might be nice for the people that use it responsibly, but the whole point is that's not good for our nation. But they trick you into thinking it's good for you. This is how communism works. They trick you into thinking it's good for you because it's good for you individually, but it's terrible for the nation. You get the things you want now. You don't get the delayed gratification. And you think it's good. And then next thing you know, you don't have any rights or any guns or anything, and everybody's broke and nobody works. That's what happens with communism. You want proof? Go look at Russia 100 years ago. Go look at Germany 90 years ago. This is what happens. Hyperinflation. In Germany then, they were taking wheelbarrows of $1 bills or whatever they're called there, $1 bills, and taking them and dumping them into the fire to keep the fire going because it was cheaper to dump full wheelbarrow loads of money into the fire to keep it going than it was to go buy firewood. That's what hyperinflation turns into. You don't think we're seeing that? Go look at the penny. We don't have it anymore. No more in production. It's coming, whether you like it or not. And things like this only accelerate it and push us more into a government-dependent communism state. It's terrifying. I really cannot handle it. And what we need, and like I said, we need somebody to come in who's going to be a strong candidate, somebody that's going to be powerful, that's not afraid to say what they're thinking, similar to Trump in 2016, who's going to denounce Israel, who's going to denounce the evil, who's going to say Christ is king, and is going to bring this nation back to its former glory. That's what we want. We want an actual right-wing candidate, not a liberal who claims to be Republican now in Trump. How many of us can say that we've had that in our lifetime? It's not many. And that's what's sad. It's really not many. Oh, so I'm really upset with the Republican Party. I'm really upset with all the different things that are going on. I'm really upset with what I voted for. I mean, I'm not going to say I regret my vote because in a lot of ways I do, in a lot of ways I don't. I'm 50-50 on if I regret it. But what does it accomplish for us at this point? We're tired of the mediocre lukewarm. It doesn't work. Even the Bible says God spits out the lukewarm. Hot or cold, give me one. Don't be lukewarm. Don't tell me you're going to do something and then not do it. Don't act like you're going to do it and then not do it. Don't be lukewarm. Either be on fire or be cold. But don't be in the middle. And that's what Trump is. It's a whole bunch of saying he's doing stuff and then not really. We need somebody to come in and change that. It's not the better of two evils anymore. The better of two evils just gets us a whole lot of nothing. Right? If you follow a sports team, like for instance, I'm a Hawks fan, an Atlanta Hawks fan. If you follow these sports teams, it sucks to be middle of the road every single year because in sports terms, you don't get a good draft pick, but you also never compete for a championship and you just stay right there in the middle. You either got to be all in going for a championship, or you got to say, you know what, we're going to cut some stuff out, trade some players, get some picks, and start over and rebuild for a few years. And that's where we're at. The middle of the road isn't doing it. The lukewarm isn't doing it. What we need is we need to either be on fire and have a candidate come in 2028 and take this nation by storm, or we just need to let Gavin Newsom have it, take us back to ice cold so we can rebuild and regroup and let that pendulum swing back in our favor. Hard this time. Hard. Similar to what it did in 2016 with Trump. That was a pendulum swing with Trump the first time, and it's fell back and it's falling back. We saw it in these elections last week. We need it to come back in our favor somehow, some way. And it starts with us. It starts with spreading the word now for 2028. We're going to get walloped in the midterms. That's no surprise. It's not going to probably change. I don't see it changing in a year. We're not going to get any real change in the government in the next year because midterm elections are coming up. Once you get through the first year of a president, nothing gets done. It has to happen in the first year. If it doesn't happen, sorry, because then midterms start. So we're at the point now where we look at midterms. We're probably going to get walloped. We're probably going to get swept everywhere. Democrats will gain control of everything, and then nothing gets done. And then we have to regroup for 2028. And we got to put a real candidate forward, not J.D. Vance, not Peter Thiel, Israeli shill. No, we need a real candidate. Somebody that is America first, somebody that's strong-willed, somebody that will say what they need to say and shut everybody up and say, no, this is what we're doing. No, this nation will follow Christ. No, this nation will denounce Israel. No, this nation is not going to send money to every nation that could possibly think about it. That's what's going to happen. That's what we need to happen if we want to see real change in this country. Otherwise, we're just going to let it be destroyed. And that's what's sad. I'm gonna dive into questions. Like I said, it's not gonna be a super long show tonight. I think I went about 30 minutes there. This isn't gonna be a super long one. It was kind of on a whim. I missed y'all. I missed talking to y'all. I haven't got to answer questions in a while. I want to spend some time, Q&A, comments. I want to hear what y'all have to say. Put them down. I'm gonna scroll a little bit. Looks like we have one. I'm not sure where this one come from. This one says, I'm not voting for the GOP in 2026 or 2028. Where are the mass deportations and the jobs for Americans? F them all. Honestly, that's the truth. I didn't vote in this past election. I'm probably not going to vote in the midterms. And unless something changes, I probably won't vote in 2028, honestly. That's where I'm at, because what's the point? If J.D. Vance runs, I will not be voting for him. Honestly, I might vote for Newsom just to say screw it. I'm not voting because we have to set a hard precedent that says, no, we will not vote for anybody that supports Israel. We will not. We're drawing the line. Make them pay, just like we did last week. Make them pay for supporting Israel. If they're going to get paid, if they're going to get rich off of this from the rich Jewish donors, we're going to make them pay in the elections where they don't get to keep their seat. Stand strong in that. Don't fall for the lukewarm. Let it be cold for a little bit because our time is coming. Let's see what else we got on here. I'm going to scroll up, see what we got. What about deporting working families instead of actual criminals and then standing for H-1B visas and saying there's no talent in America? Yeah, Catco76. That's something I kind of dove into a little bit there. The whole illegal thing, look, I'm sorry. I don't support people being here illegally. I think they should be gone. Whether they're working or not, I'm sorry. You broke the law. That's how it works. But to advertise for these H-1Bs, I don't support that. If anything, at least these illegal families are working the actual jobs that Americans don't want when it comes to farming and things like that in a lot of scenarios. So to some extent, I see what you're saying there. We have seen zero improvements across the economy. Exactly. If anything, it's gotten worse. Gas hasn't went down. He claims it is. It really hadn't. Maybe 10 cents. And that fluctuates constantly anyways, at least where I'm at. Groceries haven't went down. They've only went up. Every time I go to the grocery store, I get like upset. I'm like, oh my gosh. We had a flat tire on a trailer today. Went to change a valve stem. $20. It took less than 5 minutes. But that's what the guy charged. That's the economy. That's what they have to charge to make money, and it falls back on everybody else. It's insane what we're paying. Let's see what else we got here. As we scroll down. Sad for my Texas folks who have obtained zero help while Trump is urging to buy Argentina cattle. I'm assuming you're talking about the beef there. Yeah, the beef issues. This is one of the problems I have with beef in America. In a grocery store, you're walking through Walmart, you go through the meat section, and it says USA beef real big on it. And you say, oh, yeah, I want to buy American. Heck yeah. And you buy that beef. What you don't realize is that means it was processed in America. So that could have been raised in Argentina and Mexico. I think Cuba had some at one point, raised everything until they're ready for slaughter. Then they ship them in and they slaughter them as soon as they cross the line. As soon as they cross the border, they slaughter them. And now it's USA beef. And you don't know what's in it. You do not know what they fed. You do not know what they've injected. Nothing. I have a major problem with that. We need actual US beef. And this is part of the problem with the USDA in general is their loopholes and things. Like if you've seen them with chickens, it's like you can call it cage-free eggs. It means they're in a chicken house. And there's 10 million of them in this little bitty square foot building. They never see the light of day. That's not what we want. Well, then they say, what's the next one? They say pasture raised, I believe it is. Well, you take that chicken house and you put a door on it, and I think it's a 10 by 10 fenced in area with grass where 90% of the chickens never actually see it, but now they become pasture raised because there was a pasture there for them. It has to be like at least 100 square foot of pasture or something. And then you get free range. And I think free range is when you start to actually see it. Like organic free range is when you start to see they actually were growing up on real grass and on an actual pasture. But it's all the loopholes in USDA wording and such. And that's how you get USA beef from Argentina. We need to lower the price for these farmers. Now, I know farmers up in Kentucky and such who have paid off farms, paid off equipment, everything paid off, no loans, and they still can barely turn a profit and make a living. Barely. They're struggling at that. How screwed up is that? It's the mass farming, it's the industrialized farming, people like Bill Gates. That's the issue. They're driving down the prices of the food, of what the middleman will buy, and then the middleman turns around and sells it for an exorbitant rate, makes all the money. That's the issue we're seeing there. So no, I don't want beef from Argentina, to say the least. Let's see what else we got. It won't happen. The GOP is bought out. Yeah, the current GOP is done. MAGA is done. The grand old party, no. America first. That's what we got. The GOP over. What we got Thomas Massey and Marge. That's pretty much it that I know of in the GOP. Everybody else is screwed, honestly. I mean, they're probably still going to win because there's going to be a lot of people that vote lukewarm, the better of two evils. I'm telling you, I'm spreading the word. Don't do it. Do not vote for that crap. We don't want it. But yeah, I hope the GOP's done. Yeah, I don't know what that is. What's up with you groypers and non-whites? What? That was kind of just a stupid comment. What do you mean, what's up with us and non-whites? I'm assuming you're talking about me as a groyper. I don't even have a response for that. I don't know what you're speaking to. I'm to the point where I don't even think my vote is even counted. They're just putting people wherever they want. I mean, honestly, that's the truth. Our votes don't matter. And even if they do, you're voting for the same thing. It's like somebody made a joke that was like, it's the two wings of the same bird. Everyone's heard that, but I heard something that said, you either vote for the country to be destroyed or the country to be destroyed and be gayer. Checks out. I mean, that's kind of the truth. They're going to put who they want there, and it's all Israeli backed. It's very rich Israeli donors, Jewish donors, and that's just the truth. We're not getting anything different. The true elections, I mean, at this point, the elections are going through these machines. Who's to say these machines are truly counting them? If you hand count it, who's to say these people aren't paid off to count how whoever the person paying the money is to skew the numbers? Is there a good way of election? The best way I can think of is some form of non-biased service that goes through cell phones. If we could figure out a way to do that, because then you get your vote, you put your ID in. There's not really a good way to do it, honestly. And this is the result of that, is where we're at right now. Thoughts on AI and energy demand? Man, this is a freaking good question. Power bills have like doubled for people. Mine's went up nearly double at this point, I think. We're getting close to it. At least 50, 60%. And a lot of it has to do with these AI, what are they called? Not bot, mining facilities. They draw in so much power from the grid. And whenever the grid is depleted because of these things and it has to work harder, well, then they charge not overages, but they charge more for the power they then produce, which then falls back on us. So whenever an AI facility, these like Bitcoin things go up, the mining facilities, you see the intense rise in power cost in your area. I've seen it here. Most people have seen it in these big cities. You're seeing it. It's causing issues. And for what good? Like what? Honestly, how many of us use a cryptocurrency regularly? Not many of us. We might at one point, but not right now. And that's a major power issue. Then you get the whole AI side of this, which I think there's some AIs powering some of the crypto things, if I'm not mistaken. But on the AI side of things, you get these intensely, like incredibly smart AIs that can recreate anything. You could put this stream into an AI and create a video of me saying or doing whatever. That's terrifying. Trump pushed this bill that would say no more restrictions on AI for like 5 or 10 years. I think a lot of people got backlash on that. Marjorie Taylor Greene being one of them because she voted for the big beautiful bill, and this was shoved into it. And so now you have no restrictions. In 3 years, AI has grown so exponentially, and now it's going to be even more so in 5 years. It's just going to keep going up and up and up to the point where it's already nearly indistinguishable from real life. I think it will be fully indistinguishable from real life. And that is terrifying to me in and of itself. I think it's going to cause a lot of strife. It's already taking jobs down. This is another problem with the H-1B thing. We're still bringing in more H-1Bs, more Chinese students coming in. That's another thing Trump talked about this week. But yet AI is actually decreasing the amount of jobs available because companies are using AI instead of an employee. And so as the jobs go down, the people coming in to get jobs from other nations are going up, and the Americans are getting screwed in the meantime. That's a major issue with AI. So there's several facets of this argument as to why, trust me, I use AI, basic things, statistics. It's great for that, computing that. But man, it's getting to a scary point. And it's another example of something that can be great, but it's misused and it's taken and it destroys things. And the Bible talks about all things are good in moderation. I think this is something that could be great in moderation. And it has great uses, but it's being abused. And that's what's sad about AI. Do you think Maxwell will get pardoned? Yeah, honestly, probably. I think it's going to happen under the table, though. It kind of caught that like hot little, that hot buzz, something like a month and a half ago, maybe. I think it caught a little bit more like 2 weeks ago. I think it's going to happen, but they're going to push it under the table. It's not going to be like a big public thing. Trump pardons Maxwell. I think it's going to kind of happen somehow where they just sneak it in some way. She sneaks away, nobody hears about it. And then, maybe he catches a little bit of flack, nobody picks up on it, and then it kind of goes underneath the table. I don't think they're going to publicly do it because I think they released little headlines of rumors to see how people will react so they can then make a game plan. I think that's what we saw with Maxwell. Because obviously I think that she was very involved with everything. So I don't like that. Left and right are controlled by the same donors. Absolutely. It's the same people every single time. What if someone said, if you don't put Israel first, then you're anti-Semitic? All right, I'm going to give you a great answer to this. Let me take a sip of water first. If somebody comes up to you right now and says, if you don't put Israel first, then you're anti-Semitic, here's what you do. I'm anti-Semitic then. That's your answer. Claim it. Don't act offended by it. You have to claim these things. They only have power over us if we allow it to have power. So if they're going to call you that and think it's an insult, then accept it. Yeah, I'm an anti-Semite. Thank you. I appreciate having a title behind my name now. That's cool. That's exactly the reaction you have. If you don't do that, they're going to keep saying it, and it's never going to go away. If you just accept the terms they give you, no matter what it is, we've seen it with the term racist. We've seen it here recently with the term Nazi. We've seen it with now anti-Semite. Just accept it. Just say, you know what? That's what I'm going to be then. I love it. I love my my new term. That's your answer. How do we get past this psychotic trope? I think that was in a secondary response to what you already said. Uh, not sure if you've ever talked about this recently. What are my thoughts on Erica Kirk? I have a great episode about it. I think it was like 2 Sundays ago. You should go check it out. It was my last solo episode I did. I went down the entire mainstream conservative movement, including her. My thoughts on her, though, super quick, summed up version. I think that she was probably involved. I think that she's sketchy. I think her family's sketchy. I think there's a lot of stuff that comes back on her that's like, what's up with this? Why are you doing this? Why are you hugging JD that way? Why did this Romanian orphanage thing get shut down for child trafficking? Why were you in all these weird music videos? Why were you in Trump's pageants? Why did you see Charlie in Israel for the first time? There's a lot of questions to ask about Erica. Obviously, we can't prove that she was involved. She sketches me out, though. I don't like her. She's been at the White House more than Charlie was. If you've seen, Trump was giving her a kiss on the cheek yesterday. So that was weird. You're wrong for saying we shouldn't stoop to Jews' levels because someone threw pennies at David's punk butt. That's why we are losing the right, because they play rough when we do everything. Look, here's the thing about that. I'm very passionate about this, and you'll have to get on board. I'm all for going after these institutions. I'm all for it. But you have to understand, some random person who was probably paid to do it, going up and yelling F the Jews and throwing pennies at Dave Portnoy, that is stupid. Yeah, like your gut reaction is ha ha ha, whatever, it's funny. No, because now he gets a crime, and now everyone's crying this whole thing about, well, look what they're doing. They're just attacking us in public. It's like the people that were going down the road shooting the water guns at the Orthodox Jews. Don't do that. That ruins the movement. It makes you look incredibly stupid. It makes you look incredibly low IQ, and it makes you look like you can't actually put together a real argument. If you can sit here and have a conversation and say, well, here's the reason why I don't trust the Zionists, those people, the Israelis. Here's the reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4. They were involved in this. They've done this. They were very, very crucial in the creation of the Federal Reserve. And you go down and you actually show things. Okay, now people say, oh, yeah, they have a point there. If you start throwing pennies at Dave Portnoy, who gives a freak about him, you get arrested because that's an assault charge now, potentially a hate crime because of what he said before he assaulted him. Yes, throwing things at people gets you an assault charge. That's just the law. So no, that's a terrible idea. You're saying we should stoop down to the Jews level. No, that's a terrible idea. We don't repay evil with evil. That's not the Christian way. That is not what the Bible says. And that's not how we get anything done. That makes you no better than they are. I get so fired up about this. People think it's so cute and so funny to just go and harass people out in public. No, does that accomplish anything? If this guy was not paid off? What did he accomplish for our movement? Absolutely nothing. If anything, we took a step backwards because of that. So no, that was a stupid response. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but that was stupid. When she was behind stage with Jesse, she said, I have a feeling he's up there orchestrating what's going on down here. Why is she acting like he is God or acting like the enemy orchestrating minion? I think that's about Erica, and I'm not even really certain of what you're speaking about, to be honest. Bad. One thing is Mikey McCoy calling Erica during the shooting. New York Times posted and Trump posted on True Social. Charlie was dead less than an hour. Yeah, him calling her was ridiculous. Calling, Candace dove into that a lot about what was going on and him being on the phone. And I don't fall for any of that. He said, "Oh, I have to call Erica immediately." That's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't trust that whole storyline they put out. IDF soldiers are getting more benefits than Americans with our taxpayer dollars. It's not even just IDF soldiers, just the basic Israeli citizen. They get way more benefits than we do, and it's our money funding it. That's what's ridiculous. I think something like mothers get like $20,000 a year once they have a kid, and it's like 10,000 extra for every kid after that or something in Israel. That's insane. Like, I'm not necessarily saying that we should just start sending money to every citizen constantly like that, but they get way more healthcare benefits. They get way more subsidy. They get all the stuff that we don't get, and it's off of our dollar. And then we wonder why we're broke. So yeah, it's not just IDF soldiers, but I agree with you there. Then again, Mark Levin wants Nick and Tucker neutralized. True. Here's the issue, and this is the whole thing with the Charlie Kirk issue. It's not. This is not a super like cut and dry situation where people said, well, obviously Israel did not kill Charlie Kirk because why would they go after him? Why didn't they go after, say, Tucker or Candace or Nick? Those are the three that always come up. I hate to say it like this, but if any of those three did not wake up tomorrow, every single person in the world knows who committed that crime, who was behind it. If it would not be some big secret. And so then they look really bad. Versus Charlie, who all of the proof is showing was turning against Israel, was turning against these rich Jewish donors. If he goes any further, it starts to become more and more and more obvious the further he goes away from Israel. So they had to take him out then. They had to get rid of him then. That's the hard part. So I don't think you're going to see one of these prominent figures like them get taken out because then it's obvious who orchestrated it, who put it into play, who said it was going to happen. That's why I don't think that's going to happen. Trump is the real Diddy. So here's the thing about Trump. I am a firm believer that Trump's on the Epstein list, but not in the ways that many do. I don't think he slept with a child. I really don't. I actually have more faith in Trump than that. I don't think that he was actually committing a lot of the crimes of the Epstein file people did. What I think happened with Trump was I think that whether it was knowingly or unknowingly, he was indirectly funding Epstein. Whenever Epstein was coming through Mar-a-Lago and things like that, whenever they were friends, because they were friends, I think that Trump was indirectly funding him or helping him without necessarily knowing what was happening. That's the part you don't know. Did he know or did he not know? And that's where he's on the list, is where this money came from, or where this hotel came from, or where this spot came from, or things like that. Or even where I think there was like a little waitress lady at Mar-a-Lago that Epstein somewhat recruited in. I don't know whether Trump knew or not, but regardless, it came from Trump. And I think that's where he's on the list. But ultimately, anybody who's on that list in any capacity is going to be, I'm supporting. If you did these things, you should be punished. I think that's where Trump is worried about it. So I don't necessarily think that he did some of these heinous crimes that people are saying that he did, but I don't necessarily think he's fully innocent. I think he's definitely on the list in some capacity. Let's see if we got any more questions. I think he's just protecting some of the high rollers. That's also another thing. All of his friends are part of this. All of his people are there. They are involved. They probably have videos of them, his friends, his fellow politicians, the people that got him into power. Not to mention everything with Israel that we've talked about. Who funded this? We know it was Mossad. We know it was Israel. We know it was Ghislaine Maxwell. We know it was her father. All of these people involved with Israeli politics. So, not to mention he's protecting Israel. He's probably protecting Netanyahu to some extent. He's protecting all of these very rich people because these are his supporters. These are his friends. And that's where you could say, look, you are guilty, but you're guilty by association. Right? If all of my friends are gang members, well, guess what? People are probably going to think I'm a gang member, and I'm guilty by association. My friends are not gang members. I have some really nice friends, but that might be his biggest flaw. It's just the friends he keeps. He keeps some awful friends. Let's see. Yeah. Any last questions y'all have? I'm gonna get it wrapped up here. Head on in. So yeah, send in y'all's last questions. I agree. The British had a 0 seats campaign and crushed their conservatives after their betrayals with immigration. We need a 0 seats campaign here for the GOP. Yeah, we need to shut it down. We need to get real change. We need to make something happen. I'm all for that. Like, you know what? Let the pendulum swing. Like I said, get rid of these lukewarm, get rid of these establishment right, which really aren't even our friends. Get rid of them. Get them out. Let the left win. Let the left have 75 Senate seats. I don't care. Let them destroy it because it will. That's obvious, is that'll destroy it. And then it'll swing back in our favor. And then the America First movement takes off. That's when it really gets going. He was listed in the Black Book multiple times, and he was listed in other group names. Trump knew from the start and had Maxwell working for him first. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't put it past him. Like I said, knowingly or unknowingly, I'm not gonna speculate there. I wouldn't put it past him. He definitely had a sketchy past. I think a lot of people agree with that. And so that's what's interesting about Trump is you don't know. Regardless, I think in some capacity he's going to be guilty, and he's definitely in the files. Like you said, he's in the black book there. The economy would shut down. I heard. I'm guessing if the files were released. Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, think about how many people get arrested. You hear these stories like the Left Behind series, where like everybody, like all the Christians, like supposedly just go away, and the planes that would crash, and the cars that would wreck, and everything that would happen. Imagine in society if all of the rich people were gone. And how do you get them gone? Because it's also rich people controlling the institutions in which they would have to be kept. So imagine if everybody who controlled everything, the media, the newspapers, what you watch, everything, what you eat, all the companies, what you get food from, imagine if they just disappeared. Essentially, they get arrested and they're not no more. I think things get a lot better, but the economy would probably shut down while it's trying to spin its wheels and figure out how to get it back going. It's kind of like a car that breaks down. It's like sometimes you gotta have an engine replaced, and you gotta stop the car. You gotta shut everything down. You got to get that thing out. You gotta get the engine block out, and you either gotta rebuild it or you gotta put a new one in, and it takes time. But then you get going, and you're going even better than you were before. So that's kind of what I hope for this nation. America first. Heck yeah. How far back do you think this goes back? I'm guessing you mean Israeli control, MB. I'm not sure what MB is to JFK. I think it goes back further than that. I mean, 109 countries. Take that what you want. 109. Thousands of years. I think this goes back a very long way. And American society, I mean, I think we can really trace it back to at least 1913 with the creation of the Federal Reserve. I think you can trace it back to Abe Lincoln. That one, you start getting a little muddy, but definitely to 1913 with the Federal Reserve and the creation of that, where they get to control the bank. They get to control the interest rate. They get to do that. Then you get the whole JFK thing, which is intertwined with nuclear weapons in Israel and with the gold standard. That he was opposed to both of those. He wanted to stay on the gold standard. He didn't want Israel to have nuclear weapons. He gets killed. They get both. They get both things. And when we came up the gold standard, the banks made a lot of money off of interest and off of the inflation that incurred afterwards. Those are the two main events where you really see the economy start to get bad to where it's like, can we even fix it? That's what's scary. It goes before JFK. Yeah, exactly. I feel like JFK was one of the last great presidents for the people. Yeah, I mean, honestly, he was. JFK was more conservative than most of the conservatives today, I would say. I'm not going to say he was perfect, but I think he was a good president. I think he cared for this nation and for his people. I think he had a lot of great ideas. He had a lot of great quotes. He did a lot of great things. And presidents don't get assassinated for doing nothing. They don't get knocked out like that just because. There's reasons behind it. And usually, especially in more modern scenarios, these reasons have to do with globalist agenda type things. And whenever somebody comes in and pushes back against that, doing what we're doing right here, that's whenever you start seeing these things, which is scary, but it's the truth. Um, let's see. I don't think we got any more thoughts on Ben Shapiro. Dude, how much time we got? Ben Shapiro sucks. First off, we can all raise our right hand and say we probably watched Ben Shapiro back in 2016, thought he was cool. Back in 2015, thought he had good ideas. Now, we look back and man, I'm embarrassed of that. But you know what? It got us here. Even guys like Nick Fuentes were big Ben Shapiro guys back in the day. And then they say, wait a second, this is kind of weird. Ben is, I mean, he's obviously like an IDF Mossad type person. I mean, he puts out for Israel like nobody's business. That's his number one thing, is putting Israel first, not America. He even has tweets that say, I would waive the American, what's it called? You have to be born in America to be president, for Bibi to be president of the United States. He said, I don't care. For him, I would let it happen. What does that say about Ben Shapiro? And he's been wrong on everything for like the past like 8 years. It's like every major thing he spoke on, he's just been wrong. So why? And then you get this whole thing. He refuses to debate Nick Fuentes. He acts like he doesn't know him. And then he goes on this little like rage campaign, and all of his little fellow I can't say the word, it's too much. I'm gonna get taken off TikTok. All of his fellow Zionists come in and back and like, oh, look how many views this guy. Like, dude, your like ratio sucks. Nobody's watching it because they like it. Go look at your comments where you're getting bashed. Go look at the tens of thousands of subscribers and followers you've lost this past week, 2 weeks, all because of the Tucker cost. It was so stupid. I cannot stand Ben. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, and this is what's sad is like maybe not as much now, but like, say 5 years ago, honestly, probably like 85% of the stuff he said I agreed with. But whenever you put Israel first and not America, you lose all credibility. And that's what happened with Ben. That's what we're seeing happen right before our eyes with Matt Walsh. I love Matt Walsh. Honestly, he says some great things. He has some great quotes. He has some great takes. But the one thing that he cannot get away from is he works for Ben Shapiro. He works for the Daily Wire. He cannot denounce Israel. And that just makes him look like he's bought out. And you can't trust him, which is sad. I mean, I hate that for Matt. But whenever you work for somebody like little Ben Shapiro, have y'all noticed his little hat gets bigger like every day? Like before long, it's going to be like an entire mask. I don't know why it gets bigger. Can anybody answer that? Like, is there like a legitimate reason why the hat gets bigger? Like, is that like he's leveling up his Jew powers? Is that what it has? Like, how long until it turns into that big old circular hat that's fur? That's what I'm curious about. I really don't have a reason to understand that one. Let's see. What is CO wrong about? I don't know what that's about. I don't know if we got any more. That's looking like we won't have to wrap it up. I don't think I see any more. Let me go check everywhere all around. I don't know if we have any more. All the baby souls, probably. That's the hat is full of baby foreskin, is what I've heard from the circumcisions. They suck it all out, and build the hats. So I guess Ben's leveling up his rabbi status. How many? I can't even say the word. You don't even know, like mitzvah. That's what it's called. I don't even know how you say that. How people read it. Let's see. What's up, Mr. President? Thank you. I'll take that. Yeah, I try to answer questions clearly. I mean, like I said, I really enjoy doing this and having this back and forth with y'all. I think it's fun, honestly. We get some good ones. We get some really not great ones sometimes. But I think it's fun. It's dialogue, going back and forth. I'll answer this last one. Looks like what is CO wrong about? Is that what you said? You're saying that's Candace Owens. I should have known that. I try to keep up with all these initials and this stuff. What is she wrong about? That's a tough one. I mean, what's Candace Owens wrong? Honestly, let's be honest. Every single thing she says has come to fruition. So what can you say she's wrong about? It's kind of like the Alex Jones situation. There's so many things everybody's like, oh, Alex Jones was wrong. Alex Jones was wrong. And then he came out to be right. What was it? It was like 10 or 12 years ago when he went on his rant. It's like, they're putting chemicals in the water, turning the freaking frogs gay. And he went on that rant. Everyone made fun of him. He's on videos everywhere. And then turns out they're putting chemicals in the water and it's really turning people gayer. It's dropping testosterone and raising estrogen in men. So like it's a lot of situations like that with Candace where she says these things that seem outlandish and they come out to be true. And she's right most of the time. And the time she's not right, she probably just hasn't been proven right yet. Look at the whole thing with Macron. I mean, from what I saw, Macron lost the lawsuit. And another thing that was sketchy to me is whatever her name is, Brigitte Macron, was like, yeah, I'll provide photo evidence that I'm a girl. I don't want photo evidence. Nobody wants to see that, first off. Secondly, that doesn't mean anything. All the transgender surgeries. Do a blood test. Like literally prick your finger in the court. Let's test it. It's so simple. Do you got two X chromosomes? Whatever it is, two X's? Or do you have an X and a Y? It's that simple. Are you a man or are you a woman? Why are you taking pictures of your vag? Nobody wants to see that. And what does it prove? So like she gets proved right on that. She gets proved right on a lot of stuff with Charlie, to the point where these people are like, oh, she's lying. She's fabricating these text messages. And she gets on her thing, like she gets on her stream and literally scrolls through the text and shows them to the camera live. Are you kidding me? Like how she constantly comes back right. She's somebody that I trust in a lot of ways because of that. So that's what I think is most interesting about her. But yeah, just to wrap up, I appreciate all y'all. Appreciate your comment and appreciate you diving in. I'm not sure when the next stream's going to be. Definitely stay tuned. I try to post on my story. I try to give a few days in advance notice, especially when I have somebody coming on. I got more collabs coming. I got some really big names y'all are really going to like. I'm really excited about. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to the Instagram. Stay tuned to things. Real quick, before I get off, I'm considering trying to set up something like a Telegram so that I can have a me messaging lots of y'all at once, type like announcement thing, so I can talk about who's coming on the show, when I'm going live. Talk about some major events that maybe happen, just like some little tidbits of information. Let me know in the comments right now, really quickly, is that something you're interested in? If I was to create a Telegram of some kind, would you join that? Just so I can give you lots of information. I'll be checking back in just a second. Let me know on that. In the meantime, while this is kind of going and y'all are typing, really quick, I just want to let you know Jesus loves you. If you don't know Jesus Christ, I hope you accept Jesus Christ. It's the best decision you're ever going to make. I've said I want to share the gospel on the show. That's truly what I want to do. I want y'all to know Jesus. I want you to say Christ is King. I want you to come to that truth and feel the peace that he gives. All right, God sent his only son, Jesus, to come down to earth, live a perfect life, and then die on a cross for you and for your sins, and rose again on the third day. It's beautiful. It's the perfect sacrifice. And all you have to do to have eternal life in heaven is accept him as Lord and Savior. How beautiful is that? It's so beautiful. I want to share that with you every time. If you ever have questions, message me. I'm all for it. I love those. I love those questions and things. Let me check real quick and see if that's something y'all would like. It looks like several of y'all are saying yes. Yes, get Telegram. Post on Instagram. I'll definitely still post on Instagram. But yeah, I'll still post on Instagram. I really want an Instagram channel. If anybody knows how to set that up, please let me know, because I've been looking up videos and it's like my account isn't eligible for it. And it's basically like Telegram, but through Instagram. That's what I really wanted. And I'm in several of them, but it doesn't work for me. So I'm not really sure what that's about. So that's why I was like, well, maybe I'll just set up an actual Telegram and do it and try to get some people in there. Because that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, Jesus first, absolutely. Hearing a lot of bad things from Telegram with pred catching videos. That's interesting. I have not heard that, but I'm also not very familiar with Telegram. That's just sort of the only one that I know of. Yeah, y'all stay tuned. Definitely stay tuned to the stories, because I post a lot of things there. But I just want to be able to make sure y'all know when the shows are, especially when I decided last minute. I decided like 5 o'clock today I was going to do this show. I kind of put it together really quick. That's why it's kind of a quick show. Doing a lot of Q&A with y'all. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to try to, I may set up a Telegram, put it on the story. Y'all join, tell everybody, share, set up your notifications, watch the video, share it with people, subscribe, hit all the buttons. I appreciate y'all's support. I try to spread this as much as I can. I love y'all. I can't do it without y'all support. I can't do it without y'all being here. If it was just me and a camera, it gets kind of boring. Seeing y'all in here, that gets me excited. It's fun. It's enjoyable. So I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. Let's just check real quick, make sure there's nothing else. I don't see anything anywhere. Yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. I appreciate y'all. Hope you have a great night. I hope you all have a great day. Hopefully we'll be live definitely sometime the next week. I'm not sure. Stay tuned. Check the stories. Like I said, check the Telegram if I make it. But I love all y'all. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have an excellent